Hey guys, it's Jenny with Rustic Expressions, RE Outdoors. Today I'm cleaning out the camper and I came across our maps from our most recent stay at Hocking Hills State Park. So I wanted to share some information with you. If this is your first time visiting Hocking Hills State Park, definitely go. You will not be disappointed. But this video is part two, just to give you some information. If you've not been there before, it might be some things that you want to know. So when you check in, we stayed Friday night, we stayed Saturday night, we camped both nights, and then we came home on Sunday. We checked in, it was later in the evening when we got to the location. It was about 6 o'clock. It was still February, so it gets dark about 7:30. Not a big deal. We knew Saturday that we had to make the most of the day and see as much as possible. So with that being said, when we checked into the campground, we got this map of the campsites, and then we got a map that's driving directions, and we got another map to the local attractions, and then if you go to their very beautiful visitor center, you can get another map. So you can also pick up this official visitor's guide to Hocking Hills, which is really cool too. It's got a lot of information, but sometimes all this information can be overwhelming. So don't worry, don't let that stop you. I'm going to try to simplify this for you. So it is a lot of information, but it's a lot of information that you're going to need. Not every attraction that you are wanting to see or going to see is going to be inside Hocking Hills State Park itself. Hocking Hills is actually a region. So there's several different attractions that make up this really cool area, and you're going to have to drive to get to them. We didn't know that. We assumed that, everything was going to be right there in the state park. It's not. So we did watch some YouTube videos about it and, did notice that people were driving to go see certain things, but I guess it just didn't dawn on us until we got there that, you might have to drive 10, 15, 20 minutes outside of the park. Keep in mind, you're about an hour and a half away from West Virginia. So even though you're in Ohio, the landscape does not feel like you're in Ohio. There's all kinds of hills and turns and windy roads, and it's narrow and it's beautiful. But just keep in mind, you're going to have to drive to get to some of these things. So we did go see Ash Cave. We went to Conkle's Hollow. We also visited, Cedar Falls. And we were able to navigate to Old Man's Cave, which is just inside the state park. So really the only one that is inside the state park, not the only one. There's a lot of falls, there's a lot of trails, there's a lot of rocks, there's a lot of beautiful scenery, but one of the main attractions of Hocking Hills State Park is Old Man's Cave. So I'm not going to go into all the details of all these places. That's part of your adventure. You really need to go check it out. Check out the history of this place. It's actually so beautiful. It's really hard to describe and hard to put into words. Just the landscape that's there is phenomenal. Really, truly go check it out. Keep in mind though that, this region was developed in the mid 1800s, if I remember correctly. National parks and state parks all kind of were derived from, the idea of the American West, something untouched, undeveloped, and just kind of wild in its own. And everybody just had this curiosity. So all of these things, Congress stepped in to help preserve natural resources and keep these designated areas, like they are, again, untouched. So, one of the first ones that I can think of, probably in the late 1800s, national parks would be Yellowstone or Yosemite. Those kinds of things are just an untouched paradise, and that's how they want them to stay. So they are hopefully will be protected for many more years to come, and beautiful places for people like you and me to go visit. So, from the national parks, state parks were formed probably in the 1900s, late 1800s, 1900s, maybe mid 1900s. After World War II, there wasn't a whole lot of work. So, government recruited people to, hey, we'll pay you if you build this. Long story short, camping was booming by the 1950s, maybe a little earlier than that. So things have changed. But even though things and amenities have changed, campers have changed, we've, RVs and fifth wheel campers, all of these things have changed. But you got to remember, when these state parks, national parks were first designed, they are designed with the technology that they had in that time. So camping at Hocking Hills State Park is going to be so much fun. You're going to love it. But keep in mind, the road is pretty narrow to get back through there. The campsites are also pretty narrow too, and they're not very long. So obviously, when you call and you reserve a spot or you reserve online, you always have to put in how big your camper is, how long it is, or they ask you when you make your reservation. But just keep that in mind. There's smaller areas. Back then, campers weren't the size that they are today. So we are not just seasonal campers. We like to camp year round. We don't really winterize our camper because we're using it every weekend that we can. We always check to make sure that there is a bathhouse that's open. So Hocking Hills State Park does have their shower house number 3 is open through the winter, and it is heated. So, and when I say heated, it's warm. The tile floor that you're going to stand on, if you go barefoot, your feet are going to be toasty. And when I say toasty, I mean toasty. So keep in mind, it's heated and it's there for you to use. And it's super clean. The campsites are super clean. There's trails everywhere. The trail system is labeled beautifully. It's not hard to follow, not hard to find. Even though you might get 4 different maps, they're all essentially going to tell you the same thing. So keep that in mind. But if you are looking for someplace different to go, looking for a journey to have, please go. It's really fun. If you guys have some places that you've stayed in Hocking Hills State Park or attractions that you've gone to, comment down below, because we really plan on going back. We'd like to have more time there, and that way we can see a few more things too. So that we missed this time, but we only had so much time. So, but yeah, comment down below, and maybe we'll see you on the road. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.